Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about how human design can change your life. There's so much talk and so much information about human design out there, and I don't know that people actually understand how to use it in a way that is beneficial to their entire life. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but your life still isn't working out the way you wanted it to? Like you're meant for more, but you can't figure out what's off? I want to tell you something that might shift everything for you. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just not operating in alignment with how you were designed. And that's where human design comes in. So today I'm going to break that down in a way that this actually makes sense. It's not going to be complicated, just something you can start doing immediately and start using immediately to feel more aligned, more confident, and have more control over your life. And honestly, this is one of the biggest pieces of my own personal journey that really helped me make the shift. Before I found human design, I had been teaching manifesting for years, and I loved manifesting. I still love manifesting, and I still teach it. And it is something that I thought I had mastered. I could manifest anything, and I could help other people manifest so many things. But what I started to notice is there were certain places where people got stuck, and I didn't know how to push them through. I didn't know why it wasn't working. I really thought they must be doing something wrong. They must still have programming. They must still need to break down old patterns. They must still be acting as if they're their old self. And I just couldn't figure out why some things didn't work until I found human design. So if you're working hard, pushing, trying to grow, trying to be everything for everyone, and from the outside, things look good, but internally, something is just off, and you feel like you're forcing life instead of just living it, these are cues that you're out of alignment. When you understand human design, it's almost like looking into a mirror and having it say, this is who you are. This is who you are meant to be. It's a literal blueprint for you. It's like you came with instructions at birth. This is how you're meant to operate. And when you understand this, everything will click. So first, let's talk about what is human design. It is an energetic blueprint that uses astrology, the I Ching, the tree of life, and the chakra system. But you really don't need to understand all of those things. You just need to understand it tells you how you're designed to make decisions, how your energy works so that you can manifest easily, and then how you're meant to interact with other people. It shows you where your natural gifts are that you actually brought into this world to share in this lifetime so that you could live the design that you came here to be. And it shows where you've been conditioned to doubt yourself. And this is why most of us are living based on our conditioning and not our actual design. And that's why things feel hard. So this is where I really want you to lean in, because this is where most people feel stuck. They're trying to make decisions with their head. They're following someone else's strategy. They're ignoring their intuition, and they're doing things that don't actually light them up. And then they're wondering why nothing is working, everything feels hard, and their manifestations aren't happening. So the truth is, misalignment creates blocks. It creates resistance, but alignment creates flow. And I've talked about this so many times over the last few months, but we are literally moving into 2027, which is the era of feminine energy for the next 200 years, and it's all about flow. So this information couldn't have come soon enough. We discovered human design when we were meant to discover it as humans, and the people that were the early trailblazers of it got it out there and started teaching it and started training people and started getting people ready for this new era, because more than ever, we need to understand who we are. We need to understand who we are meant to be, and we need to understand what feels good to us so we can create the life of our dreams. People are so scared of AI taking their jobs, but AI cannot be you. It cannot do the specific thing that you came here to do that only you can do. So when you align with that, you take away that fear. You take away that possibility of losing your job. You create the one you were meant to have. And human design shows us how to come back into that alignment. So there are 5 energy types in human design. So that's where we'll start. That's the best starting point for you and the easiest place to start shifting. So the first one is generators and manifesting generators. So these are 2 types, but they're slightly different. But the thing that's the same about them is that they both create their own energy. They're the only two types that create their own energy, and 35% of the world is a generator, and 35% is a manifesting generator. Now, manifesting generators and generators have a 3-foot aura around their body, and everything they say yes to stacks up in this aura. Whatever is in this aura is what the universe assumes you are manifesting. The universe doesn't understand that you don't want to do something or that you're doing it to be nice. It only understands that you said yes. And for you, yes is the magic word of manifestation. When you feel tired, exhausted, burnt out, or like you just can't keep doing what you're doing, it's because you are out of alignment. You are saying yes to the wrong things. Your literal mantra is, if it's not hell yes, it is hell no. There is no in between for you. You have to learn to only say yes to the things that light you up. So if you're going and doing things because you feel like you have to, and this happens a lot with generators and manifesting generators, because as children, you accidentally get programmed by being praised for doing things you don't want to do. Help your little brother, you get praise. Oh, do this for your mom, you get praise. Help everyone around you, you get praised for being a helper, for being the doer. You have more energy, you can sustain more, and people just rely on you. But it's so important that you start tapping in and understanding what truly lights you up. And you'll know because you'll have energy. When you're lit up, you have endless energy. And the thing about generators and manifesting generators is when they're truly lit up, they create like this juicy, sparkly energy that just like oozes out of them and attracts people to them. They can literally manifest anything when they're in that state, but they have to be doing what they love and what lights them up. Also, you're not meant to force it. You're not meant to make things happen. You're only supposed to say yes to every opportunity that is brought to you that lights you up, and no to every opportunity that does not light you up. Your power is in your gut response. So manifesting generators and generators, you have a closed sacral, which means that you create your own energy. You have consistent access to your gut energy and your gut feeling. So you can feel in your gut when something lights you up. When you're asked to do something or you're presented with an opportunity and you feel that, oh, yes, in your gut, yes. If you feel heavy and, oh, no, you have to follow what's right for you. And you can't just keep stacking. Things have to be taken out of there that you don't want to be doing so that the stuff you actually want to be doing can stack up in there and you can start manifesting the life of your dreams. Then we have projectors. Now, projectors are the newest energy type and they are only 20% of the population. They came here to show us how to do things smarter, not harder. And they do not create their own energy. So they can keep up with generators and manifesting generators. If they try to do this, they will burn out their adrenal system. Unfortunately, we've been programmed to believe that hustle and moving and constant action is what makes someone successful. And projectors really have to decondition this belief because it's not true for them. You are here to guide, lead, and see things differently than other people. And in my salon, we actually had a leadership team of 4 of us. And it was so interesting because before I ever knew human design 10 years ago, we had put together this team. And what we realized when we started really practicing human design in the business is all the projectors were the leadership team. They were the only projectors in the business. And we didn't even know this information. They just naturally ended up in that place. So when you're in alignment, you will naturally end up in that role when you're a projector. And it doesn't mean you have to be a manager or a leader. It just means you're meant to see things and do things in a different way. You're not meant to be working 12, 15-hour days. In all honesty, you should be working 2 or 3 hours a day because you can accomplish more than most people can in 2 or 3 hours. If you feel exhausted or unseen, you are probably overworking and you're probably trying to prove yourself, and that's taking you out of your alignment. And when I say this, I understand that most people don't have jobs that they can do 2 to 3 hours a day. But 2 to 3 hours is the hard work, the brain work, the like really focused, really all in work. You can do data entry, you can do entering receipts or whatever other stuff is part of your job in those other hours if you have to work an 8-hour day. But 2 to 3 hours is like your max for the real hard work. And if you can find a position where you can work the hours that you need to work and get paid for what you do and not the time that it takes you to do it, you will probably find yourself in more alignment. The power for you is in being recognized and then invited. So the way that you manifest, projectors, is by being invited to do it. You get invited by showing the world what you can do. Show the world how much you can do in 2 to 3 hours. Show the world what you came here to know and to be and to model for the rest of us. Show the world how you can do things differently and how you see things differently and how you can create systems that work better than what we've been doing in the past. Get yourself invited to the right rooms, the right tables, and the right opportunities by being in alignment with who you truly are. Manifestors, you are here to initiate. And manifestors, they're only 8% of the world, and they're the only ones that traditional manifesting work speaks to because it talks about initiating, and they are the initiators. Nobody else is supposed to be initiating. We have our own ways of manifesting. But manifestors, you're the initiators. You're the one who starts things and creates movement. The way you do this is by listening to the hits that you get from the universe. A hit means you get a thought or an idea or a feeling about something that you can't explain away. You have no clue where it came from. That is the universe literally speaking to you and telling you initiate now. When you follow those hits, life flows for you. Because manifestors, you traditionally, hundreds of years ago, you were the kings and the queens and the people that were ruling the generators and the manifesting generators who had all this energy, who were doing all the work. The problem is you had a lot of responsibility and you had to be a little bit mean. And so as you have progressed or developed through time, you don't want that responsibility anymore. You want to go play with life. You are literally meant to come here and play. And if you're not being playful and you're not out having fun in a positive way and doing what lights you up, then you're not going to get the hits that you need. If you're in a bad place or you're overworking or you're not deprogramming and you're super emotional and you can't have a good time or loosen up or enjoy nature or dance alone in your living room, if you can't do that, you're not making room for the hits. So if you're like, well, I'm a manifestor, but I'm not getting these hits, so I don't know what to follow, you're probably out of alignment and you need to be giving yourself space, giving yourself time, and allowing yourself to play. If you feel blocked, you might be holding yourself back out of fear or conditioned thoughts that you're not good enough or that you can't do it or that you have to fit into the box of the generators and the manifesting generators that you were never meant to fit into. You just have to decondition that information so that you can move forward. Your power is in trusting those hits or urges and taking action. And then last, we have the reflectors. This is only 2% of the population. And this means when you're looking at a human design chart, there's 9 centers. And if 0 of the centers are colored in, that means you're a reflector. And whenever a center is not colored in, it means that you absorb and amplify energy in that area of your life. So for a reflector, they absorb and amplify every type of energy. So motivation, actual up energy, down energy, emotions, pressure, fears, identity, thoughts, inspirations. It's all absorbed and amplified. So your environment is so important. The people that you surround yourself matter more than anything else. If things feel off for you, it's likely your environment is everything for you. You are meant to be carried by life, and you are the only type that works in a moon cycle. So everyone else works in years. You go through big transformations every moon cycle, and you should take an entire moon cycle to make big decisions. Your power is in being in the right spaces around the right people. So here's the big thing on decision making. Human design teaches you how to use your body to make decisions rather than your mind. We were never designed to use our mind to make decisions. Actually, I think 2% of the population is, but everyone else was not. Because what our mind does is it overthinks. It creates doubt. It tries to keep you safe. It takes the stories that you've been programmed to believe and makes those your reality. And when you're stuck in that place in your mind and in your subconscious, you can't move forward. You can't manifest. You are literally stuck. Your body is the one that talks to you. It's how your soul communicates with you. It's how divine energy is moved through you and how you get aligned with the path that you're here to be on. And some people are emotional decision makers. If you are an emotional in human design, you're designed to make decisions with your emotions. And this is 50% of the world. Now, how funny that most of us have been programmed to believe that emotions are unintelligent and that we should be using facts to actually make decisions, when in reality, for 50% of the world, your emotions are exactly what's guiding you. Now, here's the thing. If you're an emotional, you do have to take a beat, take a step back, sleep on it. When you're making big decisions, you have to go through the entire wave of your emotions. And so you have to give it time for you to process, because your initial emotion is not usually the answer. For emotionals that need to make quick decisions, they can look at their secondary, but that's different for everyone. So that'd be a conversation for another day. Then for non-emotionals, some of them, if you're a non-emotional and you're a generator or a manifesting generator, then it is gut decisions that you go by. Now, all manifesting generators and generators have the power of the gut. That's what creates energy, and it's how they see what lights them up. But if you're a non-emotional, that is what's guiding you, not your emotions. Because when you're a non-emotional, you're absorbing and amplifying the emotions of other people. And so those aren't a good guiding force. You have to rely on your gut. And what's really interesting is that the gut sounds like uh-huh and uh-uh. And a lot of us made these sounds when we were kids. Do you want a cookie? Uh-huh. Do you want to go outside? Uh-huh. Eat your broccoli. Uh-uh. And it's just how our body was speaking. We were saying it because it's what our body was saying. But unfortunately, our parents unknowingly told us to use proper words. Say yes, say no, don't make sounds. But the sounds were what your body was saying. You were learning to listen to your joy, to listen to what lit you up. So that's the literal sound of the gut. So if you're trying to make decisions and you're trying to reconnect with your gut, focus on those sounds. Do I want this? Uh-huh. Uh-uh. One will feel light. That's the yes. One will feel heavy. That's the no. Some people are intuitive decision makers. This means they're not an emotional and they're not a man gen or a generator. And so then they may have splenic. If their spleen is filled in and they don't have the other two, they are splenic authority, which means that they have a little voice in their head that tells them, don't go down that alley, don't take that turn, don't take that highway, say yes to that opportunity. Whatever it is, it's a little voice, a little knowing that just tells them what to do. When you don't listen, the voice gets quieter and harder to hear. So if you are splenic authority, it's so important that you listen to that. Now, if you don't know this about yourself yet, that's totally fine. The most important thing to focus on is find a human design chart that you can pull up and find out what your energy type is, because knowing which of the 5 energy types you are is the first place to start, so you can start manifesting the life of your dreams. But understanding your energy type and then understanding your authority is the first thing that will really start to align you with your blueprint. You start trusting yourself. You stop second guessing. You stop trying to force things, and things just start working out. Manifestations just start coming through naturally. This is when manifestation really becomes real. So everyone talks about manifestation like it's just a mindset, but really it's not. It's alignment. You can think your way into a new life, but you can't if your actions and energy are out of alignment with who you're supposed to be. Human design helps you to act in alignment, choose in alignment, and trust yourself. And when that happens, things come to you instead of you having to chase them. Remember, what you chase will run. What you allow to flow into your life, that's yours to keep. If this is resonating with you, I just want you to take a moment and look at where it resonates the most, because this is your starting point. Where are you the most off? Where do you feel the most unconnected to your purpose and your path? You don't have to change everything overnight. Human design is a huge blueprint, and it goes so deep and so far and in so many different directions, and there's so many layers, and there's a never-ending amount of things to learn about it and about yourself, because we are very complex and we have so many different layers. But just start with one little thing. Start with your energy type. Who are you here to be? How are you meant to interact with the universe? And you'll be able to start listening to yourself again. And if you want to go deeper into this work, I have a program called the Legacy Collective, where we go into manifestation and human design and the self-knowing journey and deconditioning and just really breaking down these different parts of our life so that we can become the people that we came here to be. It's a community of women who are all on this journey together. And it's honestly one of my favorite places to teach and connect. If you feel called, I'll link below. And if you loved this video, please comment and tell me one thing that you realized about yourself today. I read every single comment and it lights me up to see how it helps other people.